Let's make a little project.
Let me tell you, this is why you should clean up your workspace when you leave work. Don't let it look like this. It's hell wanting to start a project and then you have to deal with this first. Always clean up your workspace before you leave. Always.
This is for a separate project.
Never leave home without it.
Oh, and this?
If anyone knows which cabin this is, it's quite famous. If anyone knows, leave it down in the comments. This was the first draft of that cabin. The instructions for the pocket tripod, version 2. Video is up on the corner. And yeah, you should look into this. It's quite neat.
Yeah.
And that was it. It took like 4 or 5 minutes just to get the place clean. Why can't I do this when I leave work? This video is about reaching out and just interacting with other people. And I'm going to do that while building this into something for another YouTuber. It's going to be interesting. But first, as with every project, we need to check that my theory, what I'm thinking about building, will actually work. So we're going to do a little test. But we need to make sure that this thing does what I want it to do. Then we can build it into something beautiful. Which means I have to do a little programming over on the computer. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so I made my board play an audio file from the SD card. And I managed to listen to that audio from this really crazy, wacky contraption here by taking these and plugging into my board in a couple of places here. I managed to play the audio back and listen so I know that the audio is playing. Problem is the audio is so low that you can hear them in these headphones. To make it play loud, we need an amplifier. So I do have this speaker type thing here. I don't have a power supply for this, and I don't have it. And then I tried to see if this cardboard Bluetooth speaker, to check if that had an audio in, which it doesn't. Now I could probably modify this, but that's too much work. Then I went into the room behind the brown door to look for 5-volt power supply, and I didn't have one. That sucks. I did have this one, which I found on a scrap heap, and it has auxiliary in, which means I can plug this thingy from the headset into this, and I should be able to feed the audio from my little device. This is why I hate Arduinos in general, because I don't use them enough. The threshold for getting started is really, if that something works, it's fine. But if it goes wrong, it's just this whole process of elimination to figure out what's going on. And right now, I've figured out most of it. So we have something that might actually work if I can get the audio signal from the device into this, and preferably out of one of the speakers. We're gonna clean it up later. So now I have to figure out, I don't know if this is, yeah, I have to take this wire and this wire, extend it so I can connect it to my board, and hopefully we should be able to play back audio through this, which means I might have to solder unless I can make this work. Now this is, I do have tools at home, which I haven't brought to the office, which makes it a lot easier to strip wires without breaking them. Of course, I got this idea and wanted to test it out just for an hour. It's now 3 hours in and we are getting somewhere, but it is all fun. There we go. Okay. We have 2 wires. I don't know if that's 2 wires that we need to connect to 2 extension wires that goes into the board. What I wanted to talk about is the importance of reaching out and talking to other creators, because this whole project is the result of me just randomly commenting and reaching out to somebody, striking up a conversation, and we've kept the conversation going. Why this is relevant is because these relationships sometimes trigger ideas that you might never had if you hadn't spoken to these people. So I'm speaking kind of slowly because I'm also focusing on trying to do this right without breaking anything, because that I have to start all over again. I'm trying to cut into the isolation on the side here. There we go. 1 wire, and let's use the white one. That's going to confuse everybody. I can hear the electronics people screaming at me. I don't have any black wires, so that's why. He's been away for a while doing other things, and he returned now just after New Year's with not just 1, but 2 videos and a new studio, which is really cool. And in this new studio, he happens to have a temporary chair that is squeaking a lot. And I suggested that, hey, that might become sort of like a feature for the channel, the squeaky chair. You know what? I think we might have to solder this thing on. Anywho, Yes, I just threw this idea out there, and then he threw another idea out there, and suddenly here I am. I just got this idea. This was last night, and I thought that, oh, I gotta do this tomorrow. I gotta test this out. That would be so cool. And what I'm thinking is I can take the sound of the squeaky chair from one of his videos, put it on the card inside the little computer board I have, the Arduino, then play back through some proper speakers when I push a button. Can I just twist these? Or is that not gonna hold at all? I really should solder these. Why don't I have any clamps or anything here? Yeah. Do I wanna do this? I should fire up the soldering iron. Hold on. I need something to hold this. Okay then. Let's see if I can do this on camera without screwing up. Yep, we're there. Hold on. Let me not burn everything down. Try to... We have one connection. This is not real soldering. I'm just attaching it temporarily. Just getting some solder on. Problem is, I don't really do this that often, which means I'm kind of awkward when it comes to doing this sort of stuff, but I usually get it to, that was like the worst soldering joint ever. There we go. Okay. Now we just have to add more. That's not how it's supposed to work. That should probably do it. Yeah, I'll do it for now. It's off, and we'll put that aside somewhere to cool off. So we have the 2 wires out. Now, what I was talking again, yeah, back to what I was talking about. I was exhilarating, wasn't it? Yeah, so by reaching out to him and kind of hitting it off, talking back and forth like that generates, oh, come on, IDs. And those IDs suddenly turn into videos like this, just having fun on a Saturday. Which is, you know, what it's all about. So he doesn't know I'm doing this project, and he's probably not gonna know until I release the video. Now, this is not something I can like send him because it's gonna be just a prototype. It's a small fun project based on something that I said, and then he said something, and I said something, and he said something, and this might not be your type of fun, but this is how my brain works. Once I get an ID, that ID usually triggers other IDs, then those IDs trigger new IDs, and suddenly I have not 1 or 2 or 5, but 10 or 15 different IDs, things that I can do. And if you're struggling with coming up with IDs for your videos, try reaching out to somebody. This works. Now, let's see. Theoretically, I should be able to plug this in the back. There's not touching. I should the audio on my board. This is what my board currently looks like. Oops. I'm gonna take these wires out and replace them with the other ones. Then let's see what happens when I fire it up. Okay, so we're gonna connect. Interesting. We're gonna connect the wires before connecting the device. Oh, we have sound when we touch the wires, which means that something will happen. Okay, this is not good. You shouldn't do this, but for now it works. So I'm gonna plug this in and we're gonna see if we have sound. Yes. So, are you ready? I'm gonna plug this in now and let's see if we have sound. Hang up.
This is a test.
It worked. Okay, the important part, the proper sound. Let's try this with the proper sound. We're not there yet because we need a button to trigger the sound as well. This is just playing it back when it starts up. So now I have to connect the button and make the button play the sound, which means I need a resistor. I wonder if I had any of those. Let's cut to, what you see here is something called a resistor that limits power. Brown, black, orange, and gold. Now I have to find a chart to see if any of these are the 10K resistor I need. Let's see, 10K resistor, color code. We are in luck. First one's on the row, 10K. Brown, black, orange, gold. Yeah, this makes everything much simpler.
Now, sorry about the audio, but we need our button, and that should be...
Yeah, this was clean a couple of months ago. Oh boy. There we go. Aha. This is a Sanwa arcade button bought in Japan. We're going to use this for our experiment. Okay, then we have our button connected and wires. Well, kids, don't do this at home. This is not the proper way of wiring anything. It's because I kind of don't know what I'm doing, but I kind of know anyway. The Sanwa arcade button I didn't want to solder onto this one because I'm going to use it for an arcade machine. So I'm going to try and connect this to the Arduino and see if we can make the code work. We are ready. This thing here, look at this. Look, this is the jankiest thing ever. Just make sure the wires aren't crossed. Nope, they're fine. Which is good news. Now it shouldn't start playing until I push the button, if everything is connected correctly. Is it so fragile right now? Yeah, this is a mess. But let's see if we can get some audio going. I'm connected. This is turned on. Let's turn the volume all the way up. There's a buzzing, but you ready? Here's the button. Let's see if it works.
Yes! Super excited!
Yes.
Oh, this is okay.
Super excited!
I need to get rid of the pop and everything else, but this works. It is a really simple project, but still, this gives me so much joy. It actually works.
Super excited!
I have a Timo in a box.
Super excited!
If that's not a motivational quote, nothing is.
Super excited!
Just look at that. That mess of wires. That's the worst possible way of wiring anything. And this is not much better. There's so many chances of short-circuiting anything like right now. Please don't do this at home. That was my Saturday. How was your Saturday? This was a lot of fun. I need to bring my electronics gear and doing a deeper dive into that whole electronics thing, which I've been dying to do for a long while, but I haven't really put the time aside to do it. And you know, guess what? I am
Super excited!
See you in the next one. And of course, my desk is a mess again. It never ends.